All right. So without further ado, Renee, we're so lucky to have you. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I'm kind of excited, very nervous, but I'm just going to roll with it and just tell everything that's been going on. So I started as a discount coach and kind of dabbled, but not much at all until 80-day obsession came. And when that started, it kind of lit a fire in me and just kind of made me want to coach because, of course, I was seeing everybody else coaching and all of the things. So I was like, I think I kind of want to do that. That looks pretty fun. And I think that that would be for me. So I took a little bit to put my first post up. Mariah kind of, coaxed me into doing it. And so I'm like, okay, I can do this, get out of my comfort zone. And I put my first post up and I got a lot of engagement from it actually. And Mariah really helped me guide me through like all of my conversations. And I kind of took off pretty quickly, which was kind of awesome. I got to diamond fairly quick. I say fairly quick. I think it was a couple, 2 or 3 months maybe. And that's kind of where I stayed. I stayed there and that's where I've been ever since. I added lots of friends. I did a ton of cold invites. I got enough interest to make Success Club each month. I got ghosted a ton, which kind of brought me down. Kind of every time I was about to send an invite, I would be like, okay, they're just going to say no, and it's just going to depress me. And then I'm going to send 50 out to like whoever, and I'm going to get a ton of no's. And so I kind of let that bring me down a little bit. And I was focusing so much on reaching Success Club instead of helping people. So that kind of, each month I was just kind of aiming to get SC6. And I did that. And it may have taken me the entire month to get there, but that was my goal. That was like, I needed to make at least that, and that's what I did. I very rarely made more than SC6. So then fall of 2019 came around. I had some pretty big life changes. I got back together with my ex and we moved back in together. My dad had a heart attack. So I was dealing with a lot of stress. My dad is alone. And so I had like the weight of that on my shoulders. I had to make a lot of decisions because he was supposed to have open heart and he couldn't. And so then I had to make decisions for him because he just couldn't for himself. He didn't really even know what to do. So I let all of those things kind of weigh on me, and I just let all of the excuses play in, and I just kind of gave up on everything, which I 100% regret. But you know what? That was what happened. That's my journey, and I'm here now. So that all happened, and because I gave up on all that, I gained a ton of weight. I was like 100% depressed, and it just spiraled out of control. Like I'm saying, like I gained a lot of weight. Like I was probably as big as I was when I was pregnant with one of my kids. So when I was like trying to put my clothes on, I'm like, oh my God, these will not even fit up over my thighs. Like, what is going on? And then I didn't really help many people that I had signed up. So none of my challengers, my coaches I'd check in with randomly, it just kind of spiraled out of control. So needless to say, I was uncomfortable. I weighed way too much. I was completely depressed. And so then I just was like, okay, enough's enough. I need this in my life clearly, because look where this has led me in like 6 months. So March 2020, Mariah kept reaching out to me, and sometimes I ghost you. Sorry about that. Like, not really ghost you, but I was just like in such a depressed spot where I was like, I just don't have it in me to like do anything. And it was depressing. And Becca Hunter actually messaged me one day, and what she said to me really kind of hit home. She's like, Renee, people need you. And I was like, and I thought about that for a second. And I mean, I was like, okay, yeah, she's kind of right. And I started to think about it, and I was thinking why I was letting all of these excuses ruin what I've started to create. create as in my business, what it did for me, like with my health and fitness, my team, all of it, and why I gave up on my team, that really started to weigh on me quite a bit. And so I was like, no, I am not better off for not coaching. And so I was in such a horrible spot. I realized that I missed having this team. I missed everything about it. Like I kept seeing all of you guys, because I was still friends with all of you guys. And I was seeing you guys just love coaching and loving all of the things. And I knew how much I loved that too. And I missed my challengers and all of it. And, everything that filled my cup, I was like, you need to snap the frig out of this and get back into it, because you can do this. So what I did a little self-evaluation, which is really hard to do because you actually have to be very honest with yourself, and you can't lie at all, which I wanted to do. But I just kind of look back at like where I was as a coach before. And clearly I was adding a ton of friends, like a shit ton of friends, but I wasn't connecting with them at all. Like randomly, sure, yes, I would, but like not really the way that you should. And what I was doing was just sending them a cold invite. And you know what? It worked some of the times. Obviously, it worked 3 times a month. But it doesn't get you very far, in my opinion, for me. So I was like, okay, I need to make it success. I need to be successful. But what I need to do is make some changes so that I actually love doing this, and that I can love, and show my team how we can do this and make it fun. So that was my whole goal. Like in March, I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have an effort attitude. And for me, I overthink things way too much. I overthink, like, what are people thinking of me? Like, even with you coaches, like, I was like, what are they going to say about that post that I just put up? Like, is somebody going to critique that? Like, and not say anything to me? And then I was like, you know what? Who gives a fuck? Like, seriously, who cares? Because people are going to relate to me, and that's who I'm trying to attract. Like, I want to be real, and that was kind of my thing. So I stopped worrying about what everybody thought, coaches, everything. Especially one of the big hangups, I'm going to say too, and a lot of you moms are going to be able to relate, I feel, is that I worried so much about what my kids, like especially in sports, my kids' parents thought of me, because we'd go to all these sporting events and they'd all be sitting there, and I feel the judgment because they all know I'm a coach, and it was like, is she going to talk to me, or is she, you know what I mean? Like, is she going to ask me about coaching, or is she going to ask me to join a program? And then I felt judged about any of my posts, and they're like, and they'd say little things and whatever. I let it get to me. You know what though? But who cares what anybody thinks about what you're doing if it is something that is good? And I did a little post on Facebook tonight, just basically kind of going from that. And so what I wanted to do was create fun for my team and for myself and for coaching again, so that I love this. And what I did was I was completely carefree with my invites. I was completely carefree even in with my girls. I was like when I have my message thread with my coaches, I just was myself. I'd like throw a gif, and I'm like, like basically what I would say to some of my coaches that some of my people on Facebook, if I put a post up about me working out and somebody liked it, I'd be like, dude, crazy workout, right? Like, seriously, you sweat it out, get results, live life, have pizza once in a while, who cares? Get in with me, right? And then they would. So that's kind of how I've had my success this summer, just because I've had I don't give a shit attitude at all. Not that I don't give a shit, is that I am just way more relaxed. It's like I've taken an Ativan every single day before I invite, and I am just like loving life. So, or I'm drinking every day, but I'm not, so I'm just enjoying it and just and I'm not focusing on Success Club. I'm not focusing on rank. That's in the back of my mind. And yes, that's what I want to do. But I figure if I don't put so much focus on all of that, then everything else is going to fall into place. Even with rank advancement, like, we were right there for 1-star qual for quite a while, but I let my coach be like, no, I'm ready now. And I'm like, okay, yep, whenever you're ready, let's go. But let's go, you know? So, and it's kind of falling into place. I mean, we're still in qualifications. So like, but you know, and I just feel like it's so much better. My team really has been thriving off of the energy too. And so that's kind of it. I don't know. I feel like it's working.
It's
And that took
definitely
me
working. It's not
15 minutes.
kind of working. So what are your questions for you guys? I love your example of like just being real and like what you're saying when somebody likes your post. Can you tell us a little bit more about like your inviting process and your posting and like what you're kind of doing with all of that?
Yeah. So what I've been doing lately is I will put a post up and then I'll start adding new friends because I want the new friends to be like, especially if they have no idea who I am, they're going to automatically go to my page and just kind of check me out. And then they'll see that first post and hopefully get some engagement from it. And then that's how that's actually how I connected with a lot of people this summer. So I feel like doing a post first and then sending out even, you know, like my friend requests or doing a few invites and stuff, it really helps. So, and then just kind of like I've been throwing gifts all over the place like it's my job. Like they're fun and people are like, okay, she's a normal person. She's not a robot. You know, it's not like copy and paste every single time. So
Anybody else have questions for Renee?
Renee, I know this is you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but when you were going through your period of where you were less active with coaching, how many people did you end up losing? Coaches, challengers? Did you see an exodus of people, and did that contribute to some things, or did you have a lot of your people hang in there?
I had a lot of people hang in there. I feel there may have been a couple, 2 or 3 that had dropped off, but they were people that weren't really engaged anyways. But for the most part, I had already established quite a, you know, and actually a lot of my people who stayed with me kind of knew what was going on in my life too. And so they were sympathetic, I guess, at the same time, even though I did use it as an excuse. So I'm kind of thankful for that. But as far as like, I mean, I do regret stepping away because I could have had my business even bigger than what it is now, but it is what it is. You know, live and learn basically.
Just from like an upline perspective, as far as like I was not seeing coach cancellations come rolling through, but like a lot of inactives, not as many of her team engaging like in our challenge groups and stuff. But like the second she was back in, because her energy is so contagious, there was like an insane volume boost. Like everybody would like, she would message them and be like, hey, like shit got real for a second. I'm recommitting. Let's recommit together. And I think that there's no shame in doing that. And that, you know, I've done that before as well. Like, let's do this together. This is real life. Shit happens. Like, let's keep going. And then the other thing, now that I've stopped crying, is that when you, like, I have met my best friends in this business. And although it was so hard to watch Renee, like, take that step back, like, I wanted, you know, if I was ever not reaching out to her or, you know, pissed at her, because I had some times where I was like, ah, like, because I just wanted this so bad for her, but mostly I craved that friendship. And like, I can't even describe to you, I can't imagine like what my life would be like without her. And if you lean into this business and you lean into your team, they will 100% become your best friends. Like, I can't imagine our team without her. She's energy. She's like, I can't imagine my life without her. Let's leave it at that, because it's, I don't know. I just had to say that piece now that I'm done getting all choked up.
I also think that, like, you know, everything does happen for a reason. And I mean, that period of time, like, yes, you were going through some shit, right? But like, it also made you appreciate so much more what you had. And so when you came back, that's why you have that energy that you have, that everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm back in with you, because like it made you appreciate it that much more. And that's just like bleh, oozing off of you, right? And that's what people want. And so it was a time period just maybe to help adjust and make you think like, this is actually truly really what I want. And when you're coming from a space of, I love what I do and this gives me joy, like that's that's when you become really successful in this business, is when you're working from a place of joy.
Yeah, and I mean, also, Mariah and I had conversations about me stepping back and her being upset and stuff, and I never told her at the time, but like I was doing the same thing with my family. Like I was shutting everybody out. So
Yeah.
so glad to be back.
We're
Feels good. Like working on myself again too, like that obviously like amplifies everything. So you need to work on you first, you know, and then everything else kind of falls into place, because like that depression kind of settles down. And because I mean, a lot of people do really suffer from depression a lot, and this, I feel like everybody needs something like this, and I just feel very fortunate that I have this. So I'm crying. Like, what happened? This was supposed to be like a drinking and cheers kind of thing.
Mariah did
I'll
it.
still drink.
Any other questions, guys? It's 9:21. Have a few more minutes if anybody has any questions. What would you say is the biggest thing that's working for you right now? Like, how are you setting up your day and your schedule to make this all work?
I'm just starting out with a plan in my mind, like the night before, that I'm going to do, my posts and send my invites out no matter what's going on in the cracks of my day, and really just keeping it fun and reminding myself that it needs to be fun. Because when I make it like it's work, like I used to do, because inviting, to be quite honest, I used to hate it. And so because you know what I hated the most? I hated getting the no's. But now I'm like, good, you just told me no. That's okay, because I'm gonna move on to the next one and I'll see you later. So I've learned from coaching to have that attitude. And that's been working. I expect the no's now, and expecting them and being bummed out by them is two different things to me now. So trying to like grow as a coach and just making things non-negotiable, like we always say, and just enjoying it and having fun with it. But I have to remind myself, this is fun. Not that it, you know what I'm saying? So, and I enjoy it so much more
to the
now.
point where you appreciate and know it's better than somebody ghosting you and wasting your time, right? Like, if somebody says a not right now, then you know that you can follow up with them later. And if they say no, like I'm all set, then you can take them off your list, friend more people. You know what I mean? And you never know. You could have somebody come back to you years later. Like, it happens all the time. So as long as you just keep showing up and being proof and doing it yourself. All right. So if you have a few people on this call who I know are looking to help some people this month and are looking to make Success Club, we'll end it with like what your biggest tip is for them so that they can end this month strong.
Just be real with all of your posts, and 100%, like what I've been trying to tell with my girls too, is when people like your posts, like anything about it, like, love, comment, or anything, you need to kind of take action quick, because people, if you reach out to them like in a couple of days, they're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? Which post are you talking about? Like, try to take action quicker and make it kind of a priority to be like, okay, by the end of the day, you don't have to do it right this second if you're at work or something, but try to make it as quick as possible, because people are going to lose interest really quickly and you want to snag them while they're excited. So that's kind of like where I'm at with my girls, trying to tell them that, and just because I've learned from experience. So just take action.
Same with the people who respond to you. I mean, I think we had this conversation in like a leader thread the other day, just that like, you know, sometimes you get into that habit of like, oh, I'll answer those all tomorrow morning, right? But it's like, you might just miss that person who right in that moment was like ready and like ready to go. I'm not saying that means that they're going to run off and never do it, but they were there and ready. And like, you know, you want to be that coach that they want to sign up with because they know you're going to be there and ready for them. That's not to say you don't set boundaries and have like working hours and all that stuff, but within a reasonable amount of time. It doesn't have to be the second they send it, but within, you know, like by end of day is I think a great tip.
Yeah, treat it like you would your job. Like if you have tasks to do at work, treat it like that, you know, like this is your job to help people too. So
All right, guys. Well, if nobody else has any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up and you can go and finish your night.
does anybody want to do a cheers boomerang with me?
Yep. I do, but all I have is a bubbly. How lame is that?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Did you get it?
Yep. All right. Thanks,
Awesome.
girls.
Thank you so much, Renee.
You're welcome.
Have a great night, everybody.